Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Warshippers of all ages, to Game 2 of ELSR versus Shaft here in the international bracket of King of the Sea 15. We're spawning here in Warrior's Path. Zath, before we get too far, talk to me about the ELSR lineup here in green.
All right, will do. ELSR bringing an Ohio and a Vermont. This time their Ohio is a little bit less damage and more survivability oriented. I wonder why. The Vermont, actually, that's the opposite Ohio. Interesting. The Vermont is running a full damage control build, including DC slot 1. Interesting there. We've got a Stalingrad that's running range build with radio location and all the other good fixins. Hutao's Moskva in unique upgrade, also pretty much survivability spec, except note, not running survivability expert. Interesting. We've got a Des Moines here that's using legendary module as well as basically full survivability. Khabarovsk for Rin instead of a Marceau this time.
Double rudder
and
Khabarovsk.
He is running double rudder. That's right, exactly. Pretty much all guns in that setup there, plus a little survivability. Fronted by Yu Yang, that's Busters this time instead of a Harugumo, trading in that smoke for a radar with a pretty much full torpedo spec heading off towards CCAP. Going towards A, we've got Luger Shimakaze in full torpedo spec, running 12-kilometer torpedoes with the unique upgrade to just vomit as many torpedoes as possible. Backed up by Quincy's Ragnar. Quincy wants to give it another try. Raptor, what is Shaft bringing to the south?
Shaft is running double Ohio. We've seen this before. Damon's Ohio, brisk and all that, like we saw last game. Headed over towards C, he is fronted by Vert and a Harugumo. That's your famous 420 Blaze It All build that you'd like to talk about. Kimmy's Des Moines here, running unique upgrade in slot 6, little concealment and top grade gunner. Otten headed towards mid with a Moskva again, unique upgrade. Let's see, Zill's Ragnar looking very similar to Quincy's build. A little bit of gun reload, a little bit of gun range there on the 4-point captain skill. Intaro's Ragnar, running double Ragnar here, is Shaft. Same build as Zill. Repri's Harugumo looking very similar there with, again, gun range, unique upgrade in slot 5, and a little extra concealment. Backed up over here at A by Formazing's Des Moines, unique upgrade, concealment, and top grade gunner again, and Lucar's Ohio, same build that we saw him running last game. One thing I wanted to point out about Luger's build, Zath, have a look at it again. He's running the unique Shimakaze upgrade in slot 6, but he's not running the torpedo reload skill, the 3-point captain skill.
Well, that's true. Just a quick reminder, by the way, Brisbane and Kleber banned on this match.
Yep.
I have a strong feeling that the reason why is they feel adrenaline rush is just too important, especially if you take a random torpedo in that ship. But you also want that survivability. You can see the captain there is using one of the I can't remember the exact name of the captain, but it's one of the Japanese special captains that has enhanced a survivability expert.
So
what are we oohing over there?
Well, Intaro's Ragnar looks like he took a Shimakaze torpedo, and now he's getting heavily focused here. ELSR quickly on to 2 caps already, not making the same mistake they did last game. They may bag an early kill here. They need only 300 points left on Int'l. They can still see him, Zap.
And he's still detected,
Yeah, he will open fire with his guns. There we go. ELSR claims a big early kill here. They're going to take some punishment on Quincy in return, but as long as they don't lose Quincy, it was a good trade.
Yeah, that was a great opening kill there. Quincy, I think he'll be okay.
He's on fire, isn't he?
I think is the operative word. He's on fire and his engines are up, but DCP is available. There it is.
Yeah, he's out of the fight for a bit. They can't afford to risk him again, but a quick, very quick, 4 minutes into the game 200-point lead here for ELSR.
Well, and that's the strength of vomiting out torpedoes in that Shimakaze. You guess where they're going to be, and you use that wall of skill. Another one coming in right now on Ripri's Harugumo as they try another Death Snail.
Luger using his RPF to good effect there to bag, basically to force an early kill on that Shaft Ragnar. Having a look at C, ELSR basically has gone very wide, Zath. They're playing A, they're playing C. They sort of don't care about B. They made a token defense there. They put up the radar from Hutao to try to drive off Zill's Ragnar in the middle of the board, but it didn't do very much and certainly didn't slow down Shaft's cap. So now ELSR basically setting up to receive, a defend here at C and to do the same at A. I will say their A defense feels a little worse. Yep. Luger's Shimakaze now caught out by a very lengthy Des Moines radar. He's got to have that for 20 more seconds as he runs trying to get out of range of it.
I don't know that it was necessary to hang that close to that smoke.
Yeah,
I'm a little... got the cap. You know they're going to charge you, or they're going to have to push.
Does feel like perhaps a bit of a mistake there on Luger's part. Doesn't cost him his ship. Does cost him a fair chunk of his health.
Activating his adrenaline rush.
Well, I mean, that's not a joke in a Shimakaze.
No, especially a unique upgrade.
That is not a joke in a Shimakaze.
Take a look at the 10 line. Vert coming under fire a little bit there on a radar. He'll be okay.
Buster's Yang moves up and catches Vert with a radar. They get some damage into him, but he's still in the game. We haven't seen a lot of... Go ahead.
Rin being pushed back there. I do like how he was okay with just coming up and trading a little bit of blows there with his Haba.
Well, he got his heals. I was going to talk about the Haba pick for a minute, Zath, right? We generally don't see a lot of Habarovsk at this level of play. Teams tend to favor the French destroyers, right? The Klebers and the Marceaus of the world. In your opinion, why would you bring a Habarovsk instead of, say, a Marceau? All things being equal. I understand the ship restrictions and all that sort of thing. They've got a Moskva in their lineup. They can't bring a Marceau. But if you didn't, would you bring a Marceau or a Haba? Or what is it the Haba brings you that the Marceau doesn't? Besides the heat,
I think it's more of a question of what does the Ragnar bring that the Haba doesn't, or the opposite. I would much rather have a Ragnar than a Haba.
Reasonable.
I mean, the Haba's got 50 millimeter plating, which means even some of the middle caliber AP or HE shells will not penetrate and do damage. And you also have the ability to bounce battleship AP rounds, believe it or not. So there's definitely some benefit to using a Haba, but I kind of feel like I'd rather have a Ragnar there instead. You get the extra radar, you get the, it still has the heal, it's got decent side plating as well. Not as good, but still pretty darn good in a destroyer-on-destroyer engagement. So I'm not sure why you would want to bring a Haba over something like a Ragnar.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, I guess Haba has torpedoes. Okay.
She does. 6-kilometer torpedoes, as I recall.
So, yes.
7.5 minutes gone. Shaft rotates Zill's Ragnar over to A, steals that cap as ELSR pulls Quincy's Ragnar to mid with Rin. They're going to make a play for B, I think.
I'll tell you what. The other thing is, with the torpedoes, you have the ability to YOLO charge a ship and kill it like you could with the Kleber, which was banned for this map.
That's true.
Maybe that's the pick.
And you can't do that with a Ragnar. Ragnar, of course, has no torpedoes, all gun destroyer.
Just one.
Exactly.
Just has the final torpedo, and that's it.
Yep, exactly. So if you want the Moskva radar on your lineup, you have to sacrifice the Marceau, which means you're looking at, if you want something with the speed and the gun power, you're going to have to look at the Russians. You're going to have to look at you're going to have to look at Haba, or you're going to have to look at Delny.
Right.
8 minutes gone. Professor Luger's smoke coming up, trying to salvage Caesar. They've been doing a good job of focusing the Stalingrad, lighting him on fire, trying to suck as much of his health away as they can. He's got 2 more heals in there. The smoke's going to buy him some time, but they're going to lose Caesar eventually because he doesn't have a lot of backup at this point. They've pulled the Vermont back towards mid. His guns are even looking mid. They are going to grab B.
He's shooting at Quincy.
Yeah.
Quincy does manage to get the cap, something he couldn't do in the entire battle in the previous game.
Wasn't able to do it earlier, but he does it now here as we approach the halfway mark of the game. We're under 2 minutes from an ELSR win. Shaft can see the clock too. You can see this push coming up the 1 line. I think the play for them is going to be to pick up this Stalin kill to try to wrap the A cap and see what happens next. They're not really set up to push along the 10 line. Don't think it's
No.
feasible over there. In fact, they've pulled Lord Damon's Ohio back to mid as well. Mirrored my Bochi's Ohio. Check this out, Zaf.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's at this point you want to discourage the enemy team from pushing. So I understand both Ohio positions.
Indeed.
I'm very curious now. Captain Caesar sees Reprise Harugumo and Formazing's Des Moines on radar. He knows it's all over for him. So the question becomes, can he get a trade? Can he take out Reprise Harugumo? He's got to be switching to HE in the barrels, I would imagine, to try to take out one of these modules, torpedoes.
Got to see if he can knock out the torpedo launchers. We don't know if he
And
did right
does.
there.
He does. Torpedoes are out.
Wow.
And it looks like it's a perma. It's a perma.
Looks like he permanent. They do get the kill. The Ohio shells come in and seal the deal.
Mm-hmm.
So Shaft finally bags that kill back. That narrows the gap a little bit. But again, we're still 70 seconds from an ELSR win here in Game 2, as ELSR has been heavily focusing Otten's Moskva. And he's starting to get pretty low.
Rin is quite low as well. He's
Yep.
forced to heal up right here, I think. Nope, he's going to hold it. Otten, though. Oof.
Otten burning his last heal.
Ooh.
Oh,
Camille goes down.
Yep. Bochi's been taking shots through that gap on the Des Moines. It was only a matter of time. His first one, I watched his first salvo. He didn't get much out of it now. Verts Harugumo stepping onto the cap and getting punished for his trouble as Stevens Des Moines moves up.
Well, he's got to make something happen. Look at the points.
Yeah, I know. They've got to try something. You're
10 seconds.
10 seconds away from a loss here. These torpedoes shouldn't land in time. ELSR, Stevens Hydro is up anyway. There we go.
And that's it.
ELSR with a solid win here in Game 2. Looking really good, Zaf. They took an early lead. They never relinquished it. And they forced, I won't say they forced an early mistake with the Ragnar, but they certainly took advantage of it.
You know, sometimes it just comes down to those kind of very lucky opening salvos. And sometimes you get that hit and sometimes you don't. But even if you don't, those torpedoes from any destroyer have the opportunity to completely screw up your game plan. We saw that happening.
We've seen it many times. All right, well, let's kick it back to Studio Bongsy, and guys, you can do a little more picking apart of this one for you, and we'll get set up for the next match.
Sounds great.